Hey everyone, Hugo here with Sell Quick, Ship Quick, and we got another video, and because Luca's with me. Again, thank you to everyone that's joining us here. And today's video, as you saw in the title, is about your pre-priority shipping supplies. Now, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see we talked about how small savings in shipping add up to big profits. Now, I'm talking about cents, maybe a dollar here or there. When you have multiple sales throughout a week, then add that to the month, and then getting all the way to the full year, you start really saving some money. And that money saved is really what's pushing your profits. It's not only what you sell for, it's also what you save in the process, which is why understanding the U.S. priority shipping free supplies is so important, and it's going to help your business. Now, there's a variety of options when it comes down to the free shipping supplies. Now, the main thing here is it's only for their priority shipping and express shipping. Really, we don't mess around with the express shipping too much. It's rare when we have something where someone really wants it enough, they'll ask for express shipping. But really, we do offer the priority shipping, and that's because priority shipping is really anything that's over a pound with USPS. Now, there's two different kinds of priority supplies that are given, and that's going to be supplies that are still weight and dimension based for the shipping rate and the flat rate. Now, flat rate, back in the beginning when people started seeing flat rate envelopes, for example, people honestly argued that it had to look flat. That is not what it means. The flat rate refers to the actual rate, meaning it doesn't matter if you have 2 ounces in that or 2 pounds in that, it's going to be the same price. Now they have a policy where if it fits, it ships with these different flat rate packaging. But with that in mind, do not alter these boxes or envelopes to fit your items, because then it will not apply. Now, you heard me say envelopes and boxes because USPS offers both as flat rate and, again, weight and dimension based options. Now, these are great options for eBay, but also, again, if you're selling on Poshmark, this is a great way to avoid having to buy shipping supplies. Now, we're going to start with the envelopes. First off, we have the flat rate envelope, and the one we use is the basic cardboard envelope, and that one is a 12.5 by 9.5 envelope. This actually holds a lot, and again, when I said you have to just make sure it fits without modifying, you still can stuff some decent sized items in here. Now, for those clothing selling sellers out there, if you're selling things like jeans, this is ideal because really you can fold most jeans to fit in this. We fit some large men's jeans in here. And now again, just because it says flat rate and it looks like a flat envelope doesn't mean when you finish it has to be completely flat. Definitely wrap it up, make sure it seals on its own. Now that's the tricky part there. You have to be able to get the flap to cover. After that, you can add your own tape for added security within reason. What that means is do not tape up the whole thing, because post office is going to say this probably doesn't work and isn't really going to work in the right size, so that's why you got to use so much tape. Luca's amazed. So reasonable tape, meaning tape the seams, and I like to tape the seams across where I stick it, that part, the little sticky flap, because I don't trust their sticky tape. And then I like to put one over the flap as well to just added security. And if I start seeing some other seams that want to give, I'll put some tape on that too. But I do not overdo it. I do not make it look like it's all packaged in tape. Okay, next up we have the padded flat rate envelope. This one is great for hard goods and also some of those items that are a little bit too bulky for the flat rate envelope, the basic cardboard one. What I mean is things like I've stuffed jackets in this, and the reason I do it is because this padded envelope has a plastic exterior which is a little more stretchy and allows you to really stuff it a little bit better. Now I want to make sure to tag some of the other clips here. I have, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see I share a lot about how I stuff these envelopes, and it's different techniques. The main thing is if you're stuffing this envelope, again, do not change the envelope. Keep it the same shape and everything. You want to add some added tape for security. That's okay. But Luca wants to grab the camera. But what I do want to add to is you can do things like clip a little end at the opposite end. So you have the big opening, and on the other end, make a little hole where as you're stuffing it, air can go out. That allows you to better stuff it, because if you don't do that, you get a balloon at one end of the item and you're fighting the item's own air pressure, which makes it a lot more difficult. The other thing is uh, using taking out the air out of your item. So we put our items into its own resealable bag. It's kind of like a giant Ziploc bag, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So I put our item in that. Then I do my best to squeeze out all the air out of that item and make it the size that'll fit into this envelope. And then I put it in there. Um, with that, I've done some big jackets, big sweaters, hoodies, and stuff to go in there. Now, outside of that, for those hard goods sellers, this is a great item here because it's going to let you ship decent size electronics or hard goods, and ship them out at a lower rate while also being insured. Again, I forgot to mention, but anytime you're shipping, priority shipping with USPS, you do have $100 insurance, which is great for those, again, hard goods, things you're shipping. Now, it's a whole other thing to lose an item, but when things go wrong and they break, we've had some items break in flat rate, thank you, in flat rate envelopes, flat rate boxes, where we sent the pictures of the packaging and got compensated by the post office. It sucks, it's an annoying process, but hey, it's part of the benefit of shipping, priority shipping. Now, let's go to boxes. Boxes, they do have a small flat rate box, which is great for some things like Game Boys, for example. Possibly, I don't know if you're selling N64 games, things like that. Again, it's a great size and decent price. It's about the price of the envelope, roughly. Now, again, I'm not saying exact prices on here because, by the time you watch this, who knows when you're watching this, and rates change. But relatively, the rates for these flat rates are going to be beneficial in most cases. But going back, so that small box, we've used it in the past for some things, but honestly, we normally go with the padded envelope for that. Next up is the medium flat rate box. Now, for the medium flat rate box, that is, I believe it is 11.5 by 8.5 by 5 inches. So it's almost the size of a shoebox. Although I'll get into that, there is a shoebox priority box. But this medium flat rate box is great for really oversized things that won't fit. So I do put shoes in here often. Normally it's women's shoes. Men's shoes might be a little bit too big often for this and end up having to stuff them a little bit too much, and it defeats the purpose. In some cases, those same shoes can fit in, again, padded flat rate. So the medium flat rate, great for hard goods because you can put plenty of padding around your stuff and ship it for a decent rate, despite the weight. I've sent dumbbells in this, small dumbbells, meaning like the 2.5 dumbbells that are collectible in some cases, the chrome ones. But ship those in here, so it's about just over 5 pounds. Dense because it's a small package, but ships to the same rate, which is nice and helpful. With the medium box, there is a different type of flat rate medium box that is. So I showed you the one that the one I was talking about kind of looks like a shoebox. In terms of it's top loaded. Now they have another one they call side loaded, which is going to be the same rate as a medium flat rate, but it's just a lot wider. Imagine a box that kind of looks like the shape of a puzzle box, for example. Now I don't remember the dimensions for that, but again, either one of those ship for the same rate, and each of them have their own benefits. Because if you use that other side one, that's where you can kind of build your box, because those are built. You build it around your item, so you have a better chance at fitting some items that wouldn't fit through the opening. Again, different ways of getting around these expensive shipping rates that are coming up. Really, whenever you're watching this, the shipping rate's probably going up. And then we move on to the large flat rate. So the large flat rate is a great box for really big boots. That comes in a lot to help us with that, and other electronics that are dense that can still wrap up nice and safe. The large flat rate box is 12 by 12 by 5.5. So it's a decent sized box. It's not as deep, but still, it's enough space to get most things, especially those big boots. Again, boots can really cut into your profits when you're not calculating the shipping. So keep that in mind. And don't assume things will fit. If you're going to put something on as flat rate large, for example, assuming you got some boots, test it out. Put them in, make sure they'd fit. Because I'd hate for you to go in, assume you're going to ship at a flat rate, large flat rate, and then have to go by weight, and then your shipping's a lot more, and then you lose profit. Yeah, don't do that. And now let's talk about some other boxes. So we don't really use the other boxes, meaning the other flat rate boxes. There are some regional. There's regional A and regional B boxes, and then there's also the classic. I wish we still had this, but they stopped providing them, and that is the stop blinding yourself, buddy. Um, that's the game box, the board game box that ships at a flat rate, at a large flat rate, sorry, but the shape of that box is great. It's huge. It was perfect for duffel bags, backpacks, big coats. But unfortunately, last I heard, they are not adding those to the list of boxes you can order from the USPS. So I mentioned you can't alter the flat rate boxes, but you can alter their other priority boxes. And they do have other ones of various sizes that are just considered priority mailing boxes. Now, these are going to be boxes that they provide. You can use them, but they are a weight and dimension based rate. So in other words, doesn't matter if you what you do, you have to always weigh those boxes because the dimension and weight is what gets you the rate for those. Like a traditional mailing rate. These boxes are great though for those Poshmark sellers. We sell on Poshmark, and we have coats and stuff that don't fit in small envelopes. And if you don't want to be using outside mailing materials like other mailers and stuff, you can save some money if you want and use just USPS mail. They have Tyvek mailers, envelopes, which fit most things that are clothing. Then any of these boxes, including the large flat rate, really, you can use any of those boxes, but instead you could also use these other priority boxes that are better shaped for things like sweaters and coats. Now, I hope that information made sense because it was a lot of information. Now, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to help and direct you to the right sites if needed, or contact us on Instagram where you can DM us and better answer your questions directly there. We also have short videos on that end where they're going to be explaining how we do certain shipping things. It's, fun videos, but also trying to be educational. And again, just thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, thank you very much. Appreciate those reviews that have come in, and give us that 5 stars on iTunes. And thank you. Luca says thank you too. He can't say it, but he says it. Right, Luca? All right. Well, thanks everyone. See you guys next week.